At first, police thought it was either an accident or suicide.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again with another interesting one. I want to bring to your attention the story of Nathan Osman. Nathan Osman last year went missing in September of 2024. After a few days, he was mysteriously found at the bottom of a cliff. Now, this story is very, very similar to what we have already been dissecting with the Jay Slater case. It's a very, very similar story, but the truth as to what happened to Nathan Osman still has not been determined. Initially, the Guardia Civil writ it off as an accidental misadventure fall in the mountains, very, very similar to Jay Slater. However, there were things that didn't make sense for Nathan's family, his sister, Alana. I have to big up Alana because she reached out to me back in April. She has sent me a full breakdown of everything she believed could have happened to her brother leading up to his disappearance, leading up to his body being found in the mountain. Alana told me that after looking at various different evidence, she realized that her brother's bank account had been used after he had died. And that right there pointed to foul play. Something potentially happening to her brother before he died. Potentially robbed, mugged by someone, and then they tried to go and use his credit card or his bank card in the local shops. Now, Alana and her family have been on a roller coaster of a ride in regards to finding out the truth, getting down to the bottom of what really happened to her brother. They were fobbed off by the Guardia Civil on multiple times, but based on the evidence that Alana stumbled across, they had no choice but to reach out to the Police Nacional, fly back over to Spain, and get Nathan's case reopened. Although they lost their brother, the positive news is they were able to get that case reopened, and now they're looking at it as a criminal investigation. So the lens that you expect these guys to scrutinize this case through is totally different to how they would have treated Jay Slater's case. Now, here's one of the emails that Alana sent to me, ladies and gentlemen, again, giving me a full breakdown of what's actually happened. It's a full breakdown of Nathan's case and what has happened so far. Now, what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to take a closer look at all of this information. We're going to put together an hypothesis, a theory on what we believe could have happened to Nathan Osman. Right now, the family have an update. They are looking for 2 women. Let's look at this.
With the power of TikTok, I need to find these girls. They were on a hen do Saturday the 28th of September 2024. They were on a hen do, a group of girls in Benidorm. Someone must know who they are. I'm not saying they'll have answers on what happened or anything like that. There's grieving parents and a family out there who just want to speak to you. Obviously, I haven't found these photos and videos on his phone from the night before he died. He was found dead the next day in Benidorm. So if you know any of these girls, I haven't got a clue where they're from. Like I said, Benidorm, 20th of September 2024. Please come forward, even if you haven't got any answers. Someone must know these girls. And if you're going to do anything today, please repost, share this video and just tag anyone who was in Benidorm September 2024.
So these are the 2 females that they are looking for, as we've just heard, because they were last with Nathan Osman, hours before he would have died. Now, they're not saying that they're looking at these women as suspects, of course not, but every bit of information is important. Perspective is so important. Context for that night is so important. And these 2 women can definitely give it. So if anyone does know these 2 faces, or if these 2 faces are watching this video, then you know what to do. Get in contact with Nathan's family right away. There are so many unanswered questions. And as we can imagine, the Osman family right now just want to get to the bottom of this. They want to understand why Nathan died. Why did he die? Was he in trouble? Was it a random attack?
Hi guys, so I want to show you in a second the last CCTV video of Nathan Osman walking along the seafront area in Benidorm. And I just want to let you know that he had a FaceTime call with a friend that lasted 7 minutes at 3:52. And sometime during that FaceTime call, Nathan was hassled by a worker for sex who was trying to get a customer out of Nathan, and he made it very clear he wasn't interested. At one point he had to say, "Get the fuck off me," and his friends had to say, "Look, get off him, leave him alone," from the other side of the call. So we would mark that as being around 3:58, 3:59 that happened. And then we know the CCTV we have is of 4:09. So that would say within about 10 to 12 minutes of that kind of confrontation with this lady. And so I just want you to watch it very clearly. Who can you spot around, vehicles, kind of what kind of things are going on, and kind of write in the comments what you make of this last CCTV footage.
This is Nathan walking along the beachfront wearing shorts. As we can see, he's got his phone in his hands. We're going to need more footage than this. If this is a webcam, I would have expected it to be much longer than this. But we can see him walking on his phone, ladies and gentlemen. And for me, it looks like there's either two things going on here. He's either on the phone to someone and he's talking to them through video call, or he's using his phone for directions. But according to what Haley just said, he would have been on the phone to his friend, so video call, right? So he's on a video call walking along the beach. This is the only bit of CCTV we have around 4 a.m. in the morning, shortly after he was harassed by the prostitute. We don't know who the prostitute is at this point, but it is worth thinking whether the pimp, someone linked to that prostitute, could have tried to attack him. But at this moment in time, we don't know who the prostitute is or if she was connected to anyone.
The family of a man who was found dead in Benidorm have persuaded Spanish authorities to reopen their investigation into his death. Father of four, Nathan Osman, was found at the foot of a remote cliff on the outskirts of Benidorm less than 24 hours after he had arrived on holiday with his friends last September. His family believe others may have been involved in Nathan's death and say attempts to use his bank cards were made after he was found. A brief outline of what happened there. Nathan in Benidorm, first foreign holiday with his friends. Lee, perhaps you can tell me the first you heard that something was wrong.
Yeah, so the afternoon, the 28th of September, we were worried because Nathan was missing for the period of time throughout the day. We assumed maybe Nathan likes to sleep, you know. He's been out, he's been up for 48 hours, having worked the night shift on the Thursday, gone right through, you know, he was high, he was very fatigued. Alarm bells rung, it got to around 4 in the afternoon. My mum and dad, they knew straight away, you know, something is wrong here. They then decided just to fly out. They knew something was up. Having spoke to the friends that he was with, there was no sign of Nathan at the hotel. And
One thing I've got a question at this moment in time is, where are the friends? You know, why do we see Nathan walking by himself with no friends? Very, very similar to the whole Jay Slater situation. The only difference is we have Nathan Osman on camera walking. He's walking. Not a screenshot, a blurred, grainy screenshot. No, we've actually got CCTV proving he was alive and he was well and he was walking. He's walking alone, so he's not with his friends. You have to then question, where were his friends? If he's only been there for 24 hours and he's gone there with his friends, where are his friends? We can only assume at this point he was en route to Lincoln.
Unfortunately, things took a turn for the worst where the friends were at the police station. They had a bag, which was Nathan's, and he had to be identified from the tattoo which he had the day before on his torso of his son, Romy. Then we were alerted from that piece of evidence that it was Nathan. You know, it absolutely shook us. This doesn't happen to us. And yeah, we're absolutely broken from it.
Nathan was found at the foot of a remote cliff on the outskirts of Benidorm in the opposite direction and some distance from the hotel he was staying at with his friends. The Spanish police said it was a tragic accident and they closed the case with little investigation or support for you as a family. Now, Jonathan, this didn't sound right to you, did it?
No. Not to us, not to anyone. It was just, you don't leave to go to your hotel and then they find you like an hour's walk away up into, it's just the wilderness.
And you know your son. You know your son, you know he's sensible.
Yeah, he was.
He knows got his head screwed on.
Yeah, he was pretty streetwise. He was always out with the kids walking. You know, he's on the beach or at Brecon, you know, in the waterfalls, always walking. So, he knew how to, you know, be outside and be sensible, and he was sensible. But
he was a family man, not a party animal, which is, I think, what you as a family want to get across.
Yeah.
Completely, yeah. I mean, we had to plead with the Spanish authorities that when me and my sister went over there to speak to the chief of Guardia Civil in a board meeting, we had to plead with them that Nathan wasn't your typical Brit going there to get, you know, extremely drunk and everything that comes with it. Nathan was only gone for 2 days. He jumped on with his friends last minute, and he had a great time, you know. And
jumped on with his friends last minute. That's interesting. Jumped on with his friends last minute, went over there for only 2 days with his friends, but within 24 hours he's walking in a country he's never been to before by himself without his friends.
what we've got back from the friends, from his phone, we could clearly see that he was there having a great time.
You had very little help from the Spanish authorities, and you and your sister, Lee, decided to start your own investigation to find out more. And you found out quite a lot, information that the police, you could argue, could have found in the hours, days after Nathan's death. What is it you uncovered?
So, from the start, not just being biased because he's my brother, but me and my sister, we knew that there was foul play involved because of the distance of where he was taken, in such a remote area. His bank cards were used the following morning. We then pursued any possible evidence from the boys' reports that he was with, from the police reports back in the UK, from then pushing with the local MP to get and gain his access to his report from Spain. And I looked through endless hours of CCTV of the Benidorm CCTV that goes live on a daily basis, and found my brother at the end of the promenade, walking carefree with his phone. Just no distress at all, really relaxed. You could see he's clearly trying to find his way home. And that's the last sighting that we have found. We've created a complete, detailed investigation of his timeline from the moment he's left the house, because we believe that it's significant to include that he was up for 48 hours. On a normal night out with him, he'll go home midnight, 1 o'clock, pushing it. And we've looked into every minute of that case, of that timeline, to put to the Spanish authorities and to the courts.
And you've taken this to the Spanish authorities, and they have reopened their investigation. Jonathan, I want you to tell me about Nathan, because we've seen some wonderful footage there that your family have provided.
See, what I'm getting here, ladies and gentlemen, is a family that have no answers. Nothing makes sense to them. Like they said earlier, they know their son. So I'm just kind of adding context from the email that Alana sent me a number of months ago. But Nathan's body was actually found at the bottom of a 600-foot cliff. And it was a 50-minute walk away from where my older brother sourced CCTV footage. So she adds that Nathan went to Benidorm with 4 work friends. So these are 4 people that Nathan knows through work. As far as I'm aware, these ain't people that Nathan grew up with. These are people that are just colleagues that he knows through work. So I don't know who these guys are, but one thing I can say, I've never fully trusted anyone that I've worked with enough to go on a holiday with them. So I can only assume that this relationship that Nathan would have had with these 4 guys is pretty solid, pretty strong. She adds that they're not stereotypical British lads. You know, they don't just go out there to party, like his brother also mentioned in the interview there. She adds that he drank quite rarely and has never used recreational drugs either. His autopsy revealed that there were no drugs in his system. So Nathan is someone that doesn't take recreational drugs. Nathan is someone that doesn't drink. And as his sister confirms, there was no drugs or any alcohol in his autopsy. So what happened to Nathan? How did Nathan find himself at the bottom of a 600-foot cliff, 1 whole hour away from where he was supposedly staying? Alana has given me a lot of information here, information that I need to really dissect and go through, and we're probably going to be back with another video. It also includes her engagement and interactions with the Police Nationale. I mean, everything they have been through. and it has been a very, very long ride. I have her number as well, so I will drop Alana a message. I know she wants to speak to me via WhatsApp, so I'll try and reach out to her, see what the latest updates are, and just kind of theorize on what we believe could have happened, just so we can get as many questions on the table as possible, as much perspective, and eliminate it as we go along. That's the most important thing. Looking at all of the different theories, different narratives that have been put on the table, and debunking them, eliminating them, until we get to the one that's the most plausible. Now, based on what's being said by Alana and her brother, foul play 100% involved in Nathan Osman's death. It's just about finding out who, why, and how. So ladies and gentlemen, what I need from you is to leave all of your thoughts, all of your comments, and all of your opinions down below. Do a bit of research on this case. If you're already familiar with this one, then leave your thoughts down below. I need to know exactly what you guys are thinking. Be sure to hit the like button, do subscribe to the channel if we are newly watching, and turn those notification bells on so you don't miss out on future videos. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.